Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
We're so happy to be here.
Good morning. And Gal is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Nick is here.
It's cold.
Yes.
Very cold.
Yeah, it is. It's going to stay cold for a while. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Yeah, I guess winter is just forcing itself on us. Said, no, what fall? No fall for you guys.
You better call the police.
Nah, they won't do anything.
Oh, yeah, you're right. At this point, you're right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mr. Tom Sinclair, they had that hurricane down there. I saw a post of his on Facebook that everything was good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, they did have. We saw a little bit of it.
No,
The rain.
Not as much as they predicted, though.
No. We had about an inch and a quarter of rain. That's it.
Yeah.
we got 3.5 here.
Wow.
On, I don't remember what day it was, but
I think
Thursday.
it was
Yeah,
Friday. Thursday or Friday, yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
But it was 52 degrees this morning here.
Keep reminding
think,
us. Keep reminding.
It's supposed to be in the 80s one day this week, and then back into a more normal pattern. So.
It's all right. It's okay.
Oh, so Alan mentioned was asking me in chat about the changing to the same SSID. I'll talk about that. I did it, and it's working. But there are some things you need to think about before you do it.
Talk about
what devices are already using the Wi-Fi that when you change, make sure you have the same password too. Or it'd be a good idea to put the same password with the same SSID on the different access points, because
Absolutely.
if you don't do that, then you're like, well, which one am I trying to connect to? And so it creates a little bit of, so a little planning would help. Figure out what devices are on what, and switch them all to the same. When you switch the SSIDs, change them to the same password, and just make sure if it's manual, assign different frequencies. If it's auto, it will automatically assign the frequency based on congestion, basically.
Yeah, why would you want to use a different SSID? I don't see any purpose in it.
Well, no, but it automatically assigns. If you use the
wait.
defaults of the AP when it comes out of the box,
Actually,
I mean a wireless router, it'll assign a unique SSID to it. So unless you purposefully do it, it won't do it automatically.
Actually, I should take that back, because we have 2 access points now. There used to be 3, and each one had a different one. It was like TP-Link 1, TP-Link 2, TP-Link 3. But it would switch and it still does when you go from one to the other. Same password, but just for the name, so you know which one you're connected to. That's right. You do.
Yeah, you can't. If you want this to work, you can't have a different SSID. If you have hardware that works together, you still using the Ingenious stuff?
No.
What are you using now?
I have a TP-Link. The old TP-Link router is being used instead of the Ingenious as an access point, and the main router is an ASUS.
So I have two Archer C7, TP-Link C7s,
Yeah.
and one is a generation 2, one's a generation 5. So it's a big difference in the way it's configured. And the available options on the version 5 doesn't let you get as granular as the old one did. But that's okay, because the auto frequency setting works very well. But the interesting thing I ran into, another interesting thing I ran into, was the not just the passwords, but the sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Let me think
It's
of
all
it for
right.
a second.
And Alan is
Yeah,
asking,
yeah.
how many
many?
devices can a typical... Gal, you were going to say
Oh,
something?
you can, go ahead. Go ahead, Gal.
No, I'm asking if you were thinking about the security types of the.
Yeah, you're right. So it doesn't really matter. You can have one be WPA2 and one be WPA. That it doesn't matter, but it slows the transition down when it moves from one device to the other. I actually have them both set the same WPA2 and the same password now. When I can walk back and forth in the house, I can see a transition, and I can watch the it go from one to the other by looking at the signal strength. I can't tell by the SSID; it won't tell me anymore. But you look at the signal strength, and you'll see it drop down and then pop open to full strength again, drop down, pop open, and it takes a second or two.
One thing I would note is that if you're going to do this with more than one additional access point, that you should look at getting some
Mesh.
sort of mesh system. Google's got one, TP-Link's got one, ASUS has got one, Netgear's got one. If you need more than two access points, highly recommend a mesh. Because Spence, you make the point, you can be on the fringe of one device, and there is no way to switch over to the other access point. If they have the same SSID, you can have areas in your house where you're still connected to one access point, and unless you turn off your Wi-Fi completely and just hope that it reconnects.
No, it actually does.
to the right.
It actually does transition on its own, at least on the iPhone.
Well, yeah, it depends on, but it also depends on location. So you could be in a weird like overlap area where it's not quite poor enough on one, and it's just, I've seen.
So
issues.
if I found that exact spot in the house, you're right, because if at some point the relative signal strength is going to be the same, because you'll find that place that you're a certain distance from each one, and based on obstructions and other things.
No, but the thing is, I think even if they're not the same, but you're still connected to the one that has, let's say at this point, 1 bar, and then the other one has 4 bars, it will not switch.
The way the technology works is if you are sitting there, both of them at 2 bars, it can't decide yet. But as soon as one goes below, it pops to the other one, as long as the other one's stronger. So that's built into the standard.
Gotcha.
That doesn't happen here. That's interesting.
Well, you don't have the same SSID.
Right. Okay, well, I can try.
That's why. And you want to use the same password because it's just
makes more
confusing
sense
for the devices. And so.
All right.
Or you got to get a 50-watt linear and put it on there.
And Alan is saying, how many devices can a typical home handle at once? Alan, you're talking about how many computers off of the network, or how
Depends
many
on your
APs? Right?
No, I think he's talking about how many devices. Depends on your AP. Some APs are rated for, most APs are probably rated for 200 or so devices.
256. I mean, 255. Yeah, theoretically.
Well, you're saying DHCP.
Well, that's how many computers could you put on one AP?
I think it's more.
But that's not true though, because some APs have lower throughput than that.
Okay, but I mean, we're not talking about the best way to do it, but theoretically, how many devices? Yeah, I mean, sure.
You can set up VLANs and have.
Yeah,
I'm not aware of there being a manufacturer to manufacturer limitation on the number. I think it would more be related in a home environment, more be related to performance.
It would
Right.
be. Yeah.
How many you have
Sure.
hanging off of each one, what kind of processor it has,
Yeah. Well, and
total
that would be the
bandwidth
good,
available.
and as Alan says, computers, phones, game systems, that would be a good reason to not skimp out on cheap access points because
Right.
they will have slower processors. So if you bog down, you get 15 or 20 devices all trying to pull data, you're going to probably notice a performance hit. And,
And that's
even
why,
the expensive routers are cheap in comparison to what they used to be.
and when the price of the Wi-Fi 6 stuff comes down and you can get devices that support Wi-Fi 6 and MU MIMO, which is the new, MIMO has been around for a while, multiple in, multiple out, where it load shares across different frequencies. But the new one is even more robust in that it adjusts on the fly. It literally, if you look at the, they have a spectrum analyzer map that shows how these different technologies work as interference changes. It's incredible because it's like a wave of what frequency is carrying the most load for the same session, for the same connection. It's absolutely amazing, constantly changing, and will adapt to load and to environment. So you can literally have somebody walk down the hall, and you're just a big bag of water, and your water is a big attenuator of Wi-Fi, right? So if you walk by an access point and somebody's online and they're getting a great throughput, if you stood in a certain place, it would affect the Wi-Fi, the signal strength and the throughput. But the new system gets around it. It just adapts on the fly in microseconds. It's amazing.
That sounds like a good April Fool's joke.
What?
Put your Wi-Fi router in a Ziploc bag full of water. April Fools.
Hey, we need to put that out there.
Attenuation.
Okay. Or what was it in North Carolina? They have this thing where if you don't want mosquitoes to come in, remember, Amnon, you hang the bag of water on the window. Did you ever hear this?
No.
Yeah, they do it in Israel as
Yeah,
well.
it's a thing. You put it up. It's supposed to somehow stop mosquitoes from coming in the house or flies.
There's
And
companies you
It's
call for that.
supposed
should
to
say-
scare the fly from because
Reflections
of
or
its
something,
reflection
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
That's the thought. Yeah.
But Nick, we should come up with a YouTube video to show how you hang bags of water around your
I mean,
house.
what
to
there,
enhance the Wi-Fi
there's
thing.
one guy on YouTube that we were talking about once that showed how to get better Wi-Fi or the
Oh, with the plastic soda bottle?
yeah and all
Yeah,
that
on the antennas. Yes, it was all
and a
scam.
CD on the
Oh
the
yeah, his name is
coax.
oh damn it. He does fake. Yeah, he's like how to get free internet. Just put
Yeah.
CDs over
Yeah,
the
yeah.
coax.
First time I watched it, I got about halfway through. I wasn't really paying much attention to it. I was just listening in the background. And about halfway through, I'm like,
Huh?
His name
And
is
then
Theo
then he-
Joe.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, that is funny. So yeah, add the bags to it.
No, I mean literally just submerge the entire thing in water.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't think of what could possibly go wrong.
No, nothing.
I have a Amazon Fire Stick in the bonus room on a television. I have the access point on the other side of the room. And I had moved, there was an old alarm clock, CD player alarm clock that I had in that room that I had to unplug. And I moved it over to the desk where the AP was, but it was sitting right in front of it. Well, I literally obstructed. If you were standing at the Fire Stick and looked back, you couldn't see the access point. So I moved, and the signal strength was going very good, just up and down, constantly shifting. So I moved the old clock radio out of the way, and it went very good and stayed very good.
Hmm.
So just having an obstruction, like a piece of electronics, can change it.
Yeah.
That's where the MIMO stuff really comes in handy.
And Nick, if you want to do the trick with the access point, access points go right into the wall, right?
I'll put them
So-
inside the wall.
Well, no, you can take an extension cord, plug it in, and drop the whole thing in the water. That would work even better.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah. See, I use PoE devices because so I don't have to worry about electricity. I don't have to worry about it getting electrified.
We're
'cause
we're
it's
kidding,
PoE.
people. You understand that we're kidding.
I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not gonna. Don't speak for me.
Only do it if you used what was it, bleach against corona?
Oh yes, yeah, of course. Drink bleach. Actually, I think
Oh,
it's a
that
great
was
idea for
so
people.
funny how they really, really, really went out on a limb to misconstrue that whole thing to make it sound
Oh
like
yeah.
it was, because you went back and I went in and looked at the science behind what they were talking about, and there actually were proposed treatments to use ultraviolet light inside the lungs. They put in a probe, literally, and to expose the inside of the lungs to ultraviolet light to kill bacteria.
Yeah, you can't say
I,
that.
I heard something from my cousin the other day that he was telling me about new material that's coming from Israel that to make masks out of. And because Hannah is making masks, I said, yeah, tell Hannah something about a material that's infused with zinc oxide. And they said that they had it tested in Germany and in, I can't remember where else. And what it does is it actually neutralizes the virus as it passes through it.
Yeah, probably like it's like probably put like a charcoal filter in your water.
I don't know, but it they say it kills it. That's it. There's no more,
Wow.
and it goes both ways as you breathe in
You
or
know what
as
zinc?
you breathe
You know
out.
what zinc oxide is?
No,
It's ointment for diaper rash.
Well,
Seriously, that's what it's used. That's what most people know of zinc oxide. It's used as for diaper rash. It's an ointment because it
Yeah,
kills
I keep a whole bunch
bacteria.
always in
Oh yeah.
stock.
But you look up zinc, Google zinc oxide, and the first thing it talks about is rectal suppository.
Yeah.
So
So
Man, I
you're
should've sta-
saying
I should've stayed in
literally
bed.
2020 is shitting in our face.
that's it. Yes. Oh boy.
You're listening to Computers 2K now.
As we go rolling down the hill of nonsense here, right?
No, but
Off
this
the
is
cliff into the
interesting.
abyss.
I mean, to have a material that will do that. Now, they're being sold on Amazon, and they're like $150 some for 3 of them. And you wash them, and they said that they can be washed again and again and again. You need to wash it once a week. I mean, I went and read about it, and it's very interesting, and it looks real
There are
because
all kinds
it's
of things out there that are um, all kinds of things out there that are natural remedies
yeah.
that are known to
So
work for different things. I mean, I remember learning years ago that um, one of the best disinfectants for water is sunlight. So they were saying they were worried. There were issues with having purified water around the world in developing countries, and they were trying to, oh, we need to put filters in. All I said, well, the best thing you can do is take empty plastic jugs and put water in it and put them out in the sun because it kills all the bacteria in the water. That's a simple thing. If in an emergency, if that's the only thing you can do,
mhm.
it helps. So it
Yeah.
doesn't take poisons out of the water, but it will kill the bacteria. The cleanest place, the cleanest environment you'll be in is your car. Because if your car sits out in the sun, it is probably the most germ-free environment you can be in. Because the ultraviolet
Unless you
light
left there the Burger King from the last night. Right?
that's it. Yeah. Yep.
All
But
right.
it'll eventually take care of that too. It takes a little while.
Eventually, yeah.
All right. So a couple of weeks ago, Google launched new features in Google Images to help people use images on the web responsibly. The features should benefit photographers as they help people both identify photos that can be licensed as well as find out how to properly license them. Google Images' new licensable badge, which had been in beta testing since February, is now live. And it's with seemingly infinite number of images online, finding the right image to use and knowing how to use that image responsibly isn't always a simple task. I mean, you go to Google Images and you don't know, is this copyrighted? Can I use it? Am I
Well, they
supposed
do have a
to?
filter.
The what?
They do have a filter for Creative Commons.
Oh, I've never.
So if you, it will limit the results very, very substantially. But if you go and do an image search,
Hmm.
there's it's been a while since I've used Google Images, but if I do computers, right, and I go to Google Images, then there's an option named Tools. And when you click on the tools, you have user rights, and there are three options. The default is all. Then you have Creative Commons license and commercial and other licenses. You can filter it. So I'm guessing what they want to make these filters much more effective by embedding things in the images themselves while they are indexing the world. They'll be able to pinpoint these a lot easier, not just through deduction about the sites they're at or stuff that's on the same page with the image.
Huh.
This has been here for years, this filter. It's nothing new, but I'm guessing they're just trying to make it
Yeah.
a lot more effective.
They're
So
saying
if you
that
go and you're looking for something, definitely go to tools, switch to Creative Commons license. That at least you know that you can find images that you can reuse.
I mean, there are services out there that provide you with images that are free to use, and I found them pretty good. One of them is Pixel. I think it's called Pixel. That
Yeah, I use Pixel.
yeah.
There's
And
another one called Pixabay, Pixabay.
yeah,
There's
and you can and
Unsplash. There's a
Yeah.
lot.
Then
yeah.
if you, of course, you want to buy, Envato has got probably the best library of music and videos and things like that to use. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
and they actually have a new subscription where you pay like $15 a month and you get access to the whole Envato library, which for people that do a lot of content creation is great. So instead of buying individual tracks for two or
Mhm.
$3 or $4, you just pay the subscription. You have access to a whole bunch of stuff. It's pretty interesting.
What happens if your subscription runs out? Has stuff you produced
No,
in the past get
it never was the case. Well,
Well, no, because I think
Nick,
once you have the license, you have the license.
yeah,
forever?
I
I
remember.
I mean, I
I guess
presume
yeah. So
so.
you're probably at that moment in time buying a perpetual license for that particular
Yeah.
use. Yeah, it would have to be that way because if it was a subscription and
Right.
you died, every everything would have to be called back that you ever produced in your life.
It's
You know,
actually in the terms and conditions. They tell you that once you bought it, once you buy it legitimately through them, that you have a subscription, then it'll you can continue using it even if you cancel the subscription. I think all of them are like that. But that's it's an interesting. Yeah, they're trying to make it easier for people to be able to see to see what's available, because a lot of people will sometimes, you build a website for them and they send you images and you look and say, wait a second. And I learned not to trust what people are saying. Oh yeah, it's free. No, if it's out there, that doesn't mean that it's free.
Yeah, free just means I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, that's all. That's good.
Amnon's door was open, so I got a bunch of
Hey,
free stuff
you
at
know,
his house. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it was
yeah,
free.
yeah.
it was implied consent.
Oh.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Nick, have you ever been to France? Are you well known in France?
No. Why?
Now
Look at
you
this
need
on
to
a
talk.
20 franc note.
Huh. It does kind of look like
It's
me.
you.
Huh. Maybe I'll go to France.
Isn't that
I'll just.
something?
What movie is that where or it's a movie where he shows up and he's like everybody thinks he's a king. Damn it.
Mm.
Nah, I can't. It'll come to me eventually. I've got a story though.
Yes.
So obviously physical media has been on the way out for a very significant period of time. My last two computers haven't had DVD drives. If you buy a laptop today, it most likely does not have
No.
a CD or DVD. Oh,
Right.
you probably will not find one with a CD or DVD drive unless you're buying like a big um like a big Dell XPS or something like that that's big and bulky and meant for um AutoCAD or something like that. But video game consoles have been the last big holdout for physical media. I mean, I've never even owned an actual DVD player. My DVD players have always been um, consoles, Xboxes or PlayStations. So the next generation of systems are coming out, and Sony announced that their price point for the PlayStation 5, which comes out on November 12th, the edition that has the disk drive is $499, which is on par with the cost of these consoles. The Xbox One was the same cost when it came out in 2013. But they are now selling a digital only edition, which has got the same specs, but does not have
The DVD.
a DVD or disc drive, or I think these are actually Blu-ray drives. I'm not sure what. Yeah, it is Blu-ray. For $399, and this is going to be an interesting. What the buying patterns of people on these consoles, I think, is going to. This will either be the CDs or DVDs will either be completely done after this, or they'll still have some holdout. And the question's going to be, what do people buy for this next console? And I like having the physical media for a couple of reasons. I have a shelf that I put the game cases on.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I think it looks cool. But I've even found myself in recent years transitioning more to purchasing the games digitally because it's just a whole hell of a lot easier. You don't have to put the disc in every single time. You just click,
Yeah.
hover through the menu, click the game, and it loads. You don't have to do that. Of course, on PC, all of the games I own are digital. They don't sell any of those games in physical media. But I wonder for the general consumer who's used to Netflix and HBO Go and Disney Plus and Hulu. I mean, people my age don't buy physical media. We never really have. It's not, by the time I was old enough to be buying that stuff, digital media kind of already was the key. I remember the early days of Netflix where it was a DVD subscription service. Yeah. But for the most part, it's been all digital content. So I'm thinking here that you're going to have a huge number of people, first of all, because it's $100 cheaper, but also because the digital media is a whole hell of a lot more convenient. So,
Yeah, but I mean,
after this, there might not be anything left in terms of CDs or DVDs. The last holdout was video game consoles, and that depending on what people buy here.
But if you have a whole collection of CDs, DVDs, the external ones are not expensive at all.
No, they're not, but people don't use them. I mean,
I understand.
People don't rip. I know people that have full CD collections.
Yeah.
What do they use? They use freaking Spotify and Apple Music because it's a pain in the ass to rip the music. Then you have to sync it to your phone. It's just a big pain.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm just saying, if somebody does want to have one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've got them.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
The external.
They'll just use their Discman.
I don't know that I never priced an external Blu-ray. I have no idea how much they are, but external CD, DVD, writable, and all that is about $20 or less. So, but you have to make sure that your device has a USB.
The Blu-rays are expensive. The Blu-rays are about $100.
Okay,
but that makes sense.
The discs have come down. The blank, I've got some in the specials today. Blu-ray blanks are actually getting to the point where they're.
But who is using that? There's two. Okay, there's another place that uses it too. Medical still uses
yeah.
CDs
Yeah.
for MRIs and
Yes.
for X-rays and things like that, for which I find to be incomprehensible. But okay, so
That's
yeah,
what they
outside of
do.
medical,
If you get a copy of your records, that's what they're going to give it to you on.
yeah, they'll put it on a CD, which is
Yeah.
crazy stupid. But
Yeah,
to each
and
their
it's a
own.
matter of time, right? It's just because they're stuck with the old technology. It's a matter of time till they really switch to USBs, right?
And I was surprised that getting copies of that stuff was not on DVDs because the file size is not that big. The compression that they
Yeah, it's
use for most of the imaging, I mean, they're not giving you the imaging that they're giving that they can see on the native system that they're using in the hospital, but it's still good enough to take. Like if you need to take your records with you to another doctor,
I'm not
if the
sure. I
quality
think
is,
they give you exactly the same format
I
along
would
with the
guess so. Yeah,
viewer
but it's
executable.
not. Apparently, the files just aren't that big.
Yeah, it's more of the software, right? The viewing
Yeah,
software is also embedded on
yeah. They'll let you view the cross-sectional
yeah.
viewer as you can run the slider up and down, and it takes you through the different wedges of the image. Interesting
So
stuff.
yeah, so the Xbox and PlayStation both have digital only versions, and I'm kind of torn on what I want to do. I'm not really sure.
Bill Gates has the answer, Nick. Embedded storage. Everybody's going to have storage embedded in them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when he gives me his coronavirus
Plug it
vaccine,
into your
it'll have
brain.
storage.
Right into your brain. You're going to have
Yeah.
several gigaflops of storage.
I'm torn though.
Waiting.
I don't know what to do. I feel like the obviously it's cheaper to get the non-digital one, but I like to have options. So maybe it's worth the extra $100 for
Well,
the physical
does
one.
it support external storage? Can you plug it?
No, it will not.
Can't. No.
I would, no,
That
there's no way.
would be a good way to do it, is to give you USB 3 or C connection
That's what
on the outside.
PlayStation 4 does.
So
Oh, you can
use-
insert an external drive, but you can't
Yeah.
put an external CD drive on it.
No,
No.
yeah. Can you do that? That's the
No.
question. That
No.
would be good if they did that. Give you the drivers
Yeah,
for it.
but it's only for stuff that is downloaded. They encrypt the partition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like something you can then switch to a PC and copy content over, right? That's a no.
And that would be
That's a
okay.
no-no.
If you could use an external drive, just plug it in. It has its parameters and its restrictions just
Yeah.
to use it to load or back up. But
Yeah,
it
and
could
I
be
use that
encrypted.
now on my Xbox One. I've got a 1 terabyte Western Digital drive. That's my storage drive. Also this week, NVIDIA released their 3080s for purchase. Their new flagship GPUs, which are 12 times or 10 times better than their current flagship devices, which is the 2070, and is a third or a fourth the cost. And they sold out literally instantly.
Wow.
They were like, I think it's 6 a.m. Eastern, they went live, and they were gone from everywhere. Best Buy, NVIDIA's website, everywhere. It was a disaster trying to get this thing. I don't know anybody that successfully got one. And of course, somehow a bunch of flippers got them, so they're selling for $3,000 on eBay. But yeah, I want one of these cards, but I'm not sure I'll be able to get one before the end of the year.
Well,
So, you
wasn't
good in there?
didn't AMD come out with a line of their own that put to shame everything else as well?
AMD's got a new card that is coming out that looks to be good, but people don't. But ATI video cards just aren't. They're not good. Not because the
So I
cards aren't
understood
good.
they brought like some game-changing performance, something that puts everything back.
So that it's a good card. The problem you have with ATI cards, video cards, we're not talking about process, we're talking about video cards, is that most games and most game drivers are developed for NVIDIA. And there is a significant performance. If you took a point-by-point comparison of the ATI and the NVIDIA card, while the ATI might be a little bit better, because of the optimization, with the NVIDIA cards, it's a better experience playing it on an NVIDIA. Now, that will likely change over time, of course, because if you have a better ATI card and more market share, the developers will build those optimizations in. But as of now, it's similar to the way it was with Intel for a while on Windows. It's just a better just a better system on a lot of things just run better on Intel than they did AMD. So that's kind of the thought with that. Plus, I've had a couple ATI cards. I haven't been a big fan. NVIDIA owns the market share for GPUs. Not even close.
And there's a good reason.
Oh yeah, they're great cards.
Yeah. All right. I've got something to talk about that I went through this week, and hopefully can help other people not repeat this experience. So, you can register a domain through Delta Force. Now, I'm not a registrar, obviously. It is going through register.com, but you get a break on the price. So, September 1st, um, register.com changed their system. And they notified partners like me that it's going to go away and all the sub accounts are going to become their own accounts, and you're not going to have them anymore. So what you need to do is push them into your account, and after the migration you have to create accounts for them and push them into their own account. Well, that was a fiasco, and I don't want to get into that now. There were things that they did wrong, but I ended up Thursday with a domain customer that doesn't have anything else with Delta Force, just the domain. And they sent me an email that said, our domain disappeared. So I went looking, and I saw that they have a DNS at register.com. So I went, but there was nothing in it. I called the partner support and asked them, and they said, oh, something happened. We don't know what, but they need to go, or you need to go and rebuild it. I said, okay. So I'm talking with the IT department of that customer, and they don't know what's supposed to be there. They had a real complicated setup in the DNS where the DNS was done by register.com, the website was done somewhere else, the email was done by Google, and they had a couple of servers that they had at the house. I mean, literally, we spent hours and hours trying to go and find historical records of DNS setups and what and the other thing. So first of all, if you have DNS on that one of the providers, the big providers, registrars is using, or actually, it's a good idea to do it everywhere. Ask, or if there is a login with Delta Force, you cannot log into the uh, actual. If we're doing your DNS, you cannot get into the DNS record to make changes. You need to ask us, and we do it just because of security. But ask for a record, or if you do have a DNS that you get into, log in and take screenshots of what's in there. These people did not have it, and there was another person that it happened, another entity that happened the next day. They did not have any, but the IT department finally, at the end of the day, figured out what needs to be there, and they went in and they put it in, and it is a mess with some of these self-service DNS, because you go in, you log in, you enter something. Every different record is on a different screen. And if you need to go and get some information, after about a minute or so, it asks you to log in again, and you have to start, not start the process as long as you saved it, but you have to go into the name servers and into the right place to put the information in. So I got tired of that. So what I finally did, I said, all right, I tell you what, I'm going to move your DNS to my server, to our DNS server, and I'm going to do it over there. So I went there, copied everything, copied and pasted real quick, and it was done. Everything was working. And now they have a record of what it's supposed to be if they need to change. The next day, I got another customer that this happened to. Theirs was not as complicated. And I said, look, I know what I did yesterday. I'm telling you, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move your DNS to our server. Not going to cost you a penny. I'm just going to absorb it. It's fine. Because I felt sort of like responsible in a way. And we did it, and we entered the information, and everything was working, and everybody is happy. The first entity decided, we're going to move our DNS, our domain registrar, to GoDaddy, because we're really not happy with register.com that they did that. Yes, this is a new system, and it only happened to domains. I went after that and checked all the domains. It only happened to those 2 domains that are not customers of Delta Force. Everybody that was a customer of Delta Force had the Delta Force DNS, and it stayed there. So something happened within the register.com DNS, and it changed the number, and it went away. So lesson to learn here is log in or ask your provider for a screenshot of your DNS entry, so you have everything in case you wanted to move somewhere else. And the reason why I did it on ours, why I wanted to move it to ours, because with ours, everything is on one screen. It's a command line, and you go into the record, and it's all right in front of you. You don't have to go different places. So it was easy for me to set it up. The customer couldn't care less, because it's as long as everything is working. But it was a pain in the butt, and almost 2 days were waste of time to get those 2 customers back up and running. Yes, register.com apologized, and they said, we're going to find out what caused it, and we're going to fix it, which is all I can ask for. But again, know what's in your DNS entry, because these people were down. The first one was down almost all day, and the second one was down about 6 hours or so. That's not fun.
It's always DNS.
It's always DNS. Absolutely.
The toilet won't flush in the morning. Probably a DNS issue. If I had to guess. Power's out. Probably DNS.
Probably DNS.
Yeah, fridge died. Probably should have checked your DNS.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Wife left you. Probably DNS too. I mean, all of it.
That's been documented. That's true. Snoop says it's true.
It is funny. All joking aside of the DNS thing, a good majority of issues that exist online is because of DNS and because of its propagation. Unlike other things where you make a change and bam, it's instantly available for everybody. If there is a bad DNS record that goes out, this happened with Microsoft probably about 3 or 4 months ago with Teams. They had a bad DNS record that went out, And by the time unlike Amnon, right, who's got a server or
Yeah.
2 or 3, Microsoft's got thousands of
Mhm.
servers. So they push this change out. By the time it propagates to all their thousands of servers, and then it propagates to you, the end user, you could look at 24 to 48 hours before an issue is resolved. And there ain't jack shit anybody can do. You're screwed.
But you're mixing two things. It wasn't DNS.
Oh, that was the SSL one.
It was the SSL certificate that expired.
Okay, yes, that was the SSL. Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
yes.
a year ago. Yeah, that was painful.
And I tell you
But yeah.
how I made it. I mean, when I changed it to my server, something that others don't allow you to do is change the time to live real short. I made it 5 minutes. That's the lowest that I can go. So after
Yeah.
5 minutes, it was out.
Amnon,
Well-
you just open yourself up to
Yeah,
an
but you-
attack now.
Now,
Yeah, but hold on.
But you have
That's,
no control about all of the rest. That's the problem.
exactly.
So-
That's the problem, and that's what
So if it
Nick is
was-
going to say.
if it was 24 hours on the old host and 5
Right.
minutes on yours,
Right.
it doesn't matter. Until it
Correct.
checks you the first time,
Correct.
you're kind of SOL.
Amnon, there are going to be protesters out in front of your house now because you talked about lowering the time to live.
I'm
They're
starting to
gonna
make
make that,
already-
they're going to take that literal. You want people to die.
Spence, you know Amnon's house, and you know that there are protesters out there about
That's true.
shorter time to live.
They are.
So,
They're in the vicinity. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're in the
Yeah.
vicinity.
All right, I'm starting a
different
fund.
reason for the for the
I'm starting
protest,
a-
but very-
You're
I'm
starting
starting a
what?
go ahead.
campaign. Boycott Delta Force. Boycott
That's it.
Nissan Communications. We're going to end your business, Amnon. The cancel culture's coming for you. So
Because of
good luck.
Because of TTL.
Yeah, you had a nice
See,
run, scumbag.
here
It's
again.
all over.
You see, because of
DNS, you're going
DNS.
to lose your business. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose everything.
See?
It was a fun run. I hope you enjoyed it.
All right, Spencer, you ready for the special?
I am ready. And we have a new offer that we're going to make public today. This is a first time offer. How many of you have had enough? What's going on? Raise
Oof.
your hand, right?
I'll raise it. I'll drink to
So,
that.
Elon Musk came out with a statement. It was last year, but it said moving to Mars will cost less than 500,000, maybe below 100,000. One-time special offer from Compost is now we are accepting deposits for a $149.95 trip to Mars. Right? Sign up now. There's an asterisk next to the 149, and that is exterior Velcro seating only. No, you have to ride outside.
Is it,
So
is
along
it
with this-
Velcro? Is it Velcro brand Velcro or some
it
crappy
could-
like?
well, that's
Yeah.
we're not saying.
Okay. All right.
But if you act now, you get a free Compost Mark I spacesuit for free. Free. It is refurbished, but it is free. So if you're ready to go, we support you, and we'll see how many people get to sign up.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody? Any takers? We get free passage, so it's no problem. But well, I'm almost ready. After the last week or so, it's at the point now where you're just ready to find another planet.
Uh-huh.
So, okay. So today, what I did was I went to Fry's and I just went through and just picked out stuff I liked. Stuff you want, stuff I want, cool stuff, right? So starting with headphones. They've got, starting at 90, the Wicked brand, they've got active noise canceling over the ear, 13.5 hour battery life, rechargeable battery headphones. With their promo code, it's $58.99, normally $99. And they've got a wired noise canceling over the ear headphone for $49, which is $24.99 with the promo code. And that's also a rechargeable battery. They've got something called Happy Plugs. Stockholm. Does that mean it's made in Sweden?
Maybe.
$39 for the Air One True Wireless headphones. $39 with the promo code, normally $49. And they have the Air One Plus in-ear True Wireless headphones. How would it not be true wireless? How could you have like half wireless? Not sure about that, but $69.
Fake news, man. Fake
That's
news.
it. It's wired wireless. That's what it is. It's the new standard, wired wireless.
No,
Oh, but look, it
when,
says
when
limit.
it's playing fake music, it'll stop.
That's it. Yep.
Look, but look what it says below each one of these.
Limit one per
So
customer.
you have to buy 2 of them.
The second one is $200. The first one is $39.
You need to choose
Yeah,
the left or the right one.
that's right. The pink ones are more expensive. The black and the white ones are cheaper. Okay, I've got a couple of things related to audio and media. Green outdoor Bluetooth speaker with a USB power bank for charging, certified to IPX7 waterproof for $39, $20 off, normally $59. And they've got another Bluetooth speaker, 20-watt output, big bass for $49, which is normally $69. Now getting into the gadget section, USB 3.0 to VGA multi-monitor video adapter. Now, it's got a single port on it. How is it multi-monitor? I haven't figured that out, but it's $49.
No, I think
unless
what
it's
they
got
mean,
more than one port.
I think what they mean is if you want to have 2 monitors and you only have one HDMI or something like that, you can add
As usual, Amnon, you're right.
Yeah.
But I think that it's a little bit misleading.
It is.
Should say external monitor.
Or maybe it
something
comes
like
with a
The
white
fries
cable.
ad, man.
that. And this is by SIG.
It'll be
SIG,
interesting if it's a
SIIG.
multi. It'll be interesting if it's a multi-monitor, but again, limit one per customer.
Well, you know what it is. You got to find a multi-monitor, right? They make them apparently, so you got to find that. 2 to 1 or 1 to 2, I should say. If it was 2 to 1, it would be a splitter, it would be a combiner. 1 to 2 HDMI splitter supports 4K and 2K resolution for $24.99. That's $10 off. An
There's one
Asio-
thing. There's one thing that you always have to look out for in these splitters, that they do support HDCP.
Oh, the signaling.
There's a lot of them that don't, and then if you're trying to watch something that has
Copyrighted.
copyright stuff, it will not go through. So you have to make sure that it does. I don't
Oh,
know that this one doesn't. I'm just saying. Just
John
think
was
about it
pointing
if
out-
you buy one.
John was pointing out that the USB 3.0 was VGA. Not did I say HDMI?
No, you said
No,
VGA.
he said okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, VGA is not. Oh, he said it is VGA, not HDMI.
Right.
So
well,
the,
it's okay.
Keyboard, backlit key, mechanical keyboard. This is a gaming keyboard. With for $49, normally $69. That's pretty good for a backlit keyboard. And if it's true that it is a gaming keyboard with the high click rate capable buttons, then this is a good deal. $49. Also have a Patriot RGB optical gaming mouse for $32.99. This is wired. For normally $49.99. Okay, continuing with what?
No, Nick. Nick put something in the Skype chat on Friday, saying, "Oh no, RGB is dead." And I'm saying, "What? Do you have a monitor or a card that is RGB?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I got my first RGB monitor.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was in heaven.
Okay, I need to defend. I need to defend myself on this. All right. I was bringing you breaking news about
I
Ruth
know.
Bader Ginsburg, and I was typing it on my phone, and it autocorrect the goddamn thing to RGB. So I need to defend myself. I was trying to keep you up to date with news, and now you're crucifying me.
No,
on the
I'm not
program.
crucifying
You are-
you.
you
I
are
said it was
crucifying me.
funny. It was good.
Yeah, I
because
know. Yeah,
you
it
know
was
what?
hilarious.
After I went and I said, I actually went and typed RGB dead. because I said Nick must have meant something, and I saw that it's RBG,
Yes.
and I said, "Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay, keep going, Spence."
sorry.
It's okay. That's why I love doing this because it always leads to something else, right? It's never just a discussion about the stuff we're looking
Right.
at here. It's always something else. All right. So here's an interesting deal on a 4-outlet wall plug surge protector with 2 USB charging ports, 2.4 amps total USB output for $9.99. It's $5 off, normally $14.99.
Wow, this is good.
That is a good deal.
Are those rotating the plugs?
I can't tell by that. I didn't click through to find out, but if they were, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be even better deal. I mean, I can't imagine it'd be $9 for that. But
They sure look like it. You're right.
I think they probably would say that in the who
Yeah,
knows?
like
Yeah.
burying that would be, but something in the photo indicates, right? Though that
Mhm.
those
Yeah.
rings.
Dang, a
Interesting.
2.4 amp USB charger, dual
I mean,
one.
that's enough.
cost-
That's enough. I mean, some tablets would like more for fast charging,
Oh.
but it's enough certainly for a
Interesting.
phone.
Anyway.
Slow charging on a tablet maybe. All right, so got a couple options here for single and dual monitor swivel mounts with gas spring arms. This is compatible with screens up to from 13 to 32 inches. Wow, 32 inches. I can't believe that they would spread that far apart unless you turn them
Well,
horizontally.
remember, 32 inches today are very light. So
No, I mean
No, he's
from
talking about-
just the form factor, the size. A 32-inch
no,
wide
yeah.
monitor has got to be probably 28 inches wide. So that's
I'm
pretty-
sitting in front of a 42-inch monitor, and I can tell you those can still
will
work.
still work
with
okay.
it.
Yeah. So it says
As long as you
uh,
have a VESA mount, right?
yeah. So it says up to 20 pounds, which is enough for a monitor. Today's monitors are lighter.
Yeah.
So $67.99 for the single arm.
Gal,
And-
is yours screwed into the table or like
No,
this?
just standing on the table.
Yeah, these are table
Oh,
clamp versions,
These are
which is
table
nice.
clamps, and
I know,
I
yeah.
never had any luck with these
Table
because
clamps.
they're those little ones. They don't grab a good chunk of the table, so they always kind
Oh
of
no,
slip
I have
out.
I have a 3 monitor arm,
Yeah.
and it's clamped to the table, not screwed.
Okay,
Maybe it's
Just
well
it has a
balanced.
very
That could
very
be it.
large base. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
this one looks like it's a tiny thing.
What I've done with those clamp bases in the past is I drill a couple of holes in the top and put some screws.
Yeah.
If I can put a screw into the table, I do that.
Right.
And that helps stabilize it. Or you can get a couple of, if you can find some flat metal plates to add to stabilize it. Depends. But you're right. I think you'd be, it says, so if it was up to 20 pounds, you had 40 pounds on this, it probably would be a problem if they were leaning one way or the other. I guess the idea is to make the weight symmetrical so it doesn't put a load on one side or the other.
Yeah.
Design recommendations. So, okay, USB 3.0 flash drives, 32 gig for $5.99, 64 gig for $8.29, and 128 gig. Two different brands here for $15.99. That's incredible. I remember I bought my first USB 3 drive at the Fry's in San Jose, California. It was a Patriot, and I still have it. And I think it was back then probably $59 or $69, and that was amazing price for the time.
I remember talking about the 64 gig on Computers 2K Now back when we were at the radio station, and they said that the price was like it was above $5,000, and we said, "Wow, 64 gig."
Wow. I mean, that's back when probably the manufacturing costs
Yeah,
were
this was before it was available, mass produced. But anyway,
amazing.
Yep.
Okay. So we talked earlier about media. So I'm including this blast from the past here. Jewel cases, right? for storing your stuff. You can still get bulk jewel cases, different types of sleeves and things like that. So for $2.99, starting at $2.99, you can buy all different manner of different types of jewel cases, sleeves, and covers for your disc media. And here's the deal: these are blank DVD-Rs, $6.99 for 50, $13.99 for 100 pack. And they also have, I didn't include it here, they also have Blu-ray. And I think it was down to, how much was it? It was a 50 pack of Blu-ray. It might have been about 70 or 80 cents a disc, which sounds pretty good. Amnon, remember the first time you burned a CD?
I remember the first time I burned and ruined a CD and how bad it hurt to throw it away.
Because it was like, well, yeah, because the disc
Yeah,
was like
couple of
$7.
bucks.
Yeah.
I remember I went through 2 or 3 before I got the config.sys and autoexec.bat right, so that the drivers would load properly. And
Yeah.
then I had to update the firmware, and just it was a real process to get. It was that first CD burner I had was $375 internal.
Yeah.
And I bought it out at one of the San Jose little backdoor computer parts shops, the kind of stuff that was in Computer Shopper that would have ads.
Mhm.
I went out there on a business trip and I took the catalog with me, and I just stopped at these different places and looked at prices. And that's where I bought it. And I was like, oh, I was so happy. I came home with this thing and I'm going to build this. And I spent probably 2 or 3 days trying to get it to work, and finally got it to work. And I said, well, what am I going to use this for now? It was fun. I think the
Yeah.
first disc I wrote was music, MP3s. But all right, so memory, 32 gig of 24 megahertz, then a normal SIM form factor,
Normal.
and normal, I mean full width, right? Lifetime
Mhm.
warranty, $134, 32 gig. And then they also have the SODIMM laptop form factor, 32 gig for 134. So is that a good price?
Now, don't jump of joy anybody that has an older laptop.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can
got to
put-
make sure it supports DDR4.
Right.
Yes, and you will know.
And not only that, double check the manufacturer list of supported
Yes,
memory
supported,
sims.
right.
Yeah, because you're right. It
Sometimes
is
you're
very
gonna-
granular now. Yep. I still have a bin. I went through the bin the other day when I was playing around with an old laptop. I went through my bin filled with old memory stuff, and I actually came up with a couple of 1 gig SODIMMs for the laptop to set this up with Ubuntu, and it worked.
I've got
And I
some
was amazed that
I've got
I
some
found any.
128 if you want. And I'm talking about 128 megabytes.
128 meg. Yeah. No, this was 2 1 gig DIMMs.
Yeah.
Okay. So Wi-Fi stuff. TrendNet AC2600 MU MIMO. I was talking about the MU MIMO standard. This is probably the cheapest I've seen an entry point into getting into the MU MIMO AC standard. 2600 is pretty fast. I mean, up there, I think 3000, AC 3000 is the fastest, the next product that I know of in the AC standard. But $99 for a one with detachable antennas. You can add gain antennas to it. Stream boost, low latency gaming prioritization, 800 megabits N band. Wow.
And
I mean, think
that
about
may
that.
be a good time also to explain to people that the fact that you have 100 megabits bandwidth from whoever, and you have a router that supports it when it's wired, that doesn't mean that you're going to get 100 megabits on the wireless side.
No, it does not.
That's what
True.
the 2600 and the 1700
That's the maximum theoretical throughput
right of the
theoretical.
Wi-Fi.
Of the Wi-Fi, not through the wired
Yeah.
connection. Yes, that's true.
Wired will always give you the full thing that the whatever it is that the provider, but the wireless is going to be lower unless you're going to go, and if you read here, 800 megabits N
Right.
band.
That's on the N band, and then 1733 on the AC
Yeah.
band. Yep.
So you
So-
need to get one that has a higher number. The higher the number in the model is the Wi-Fi speed. You're going to get
Yep.
higher speed Wi-Fi.
But TrendNet, good band, and good price for this technology. And the next one is the Gryphon. I've never heard the brand, but who knows who makes it for who. Tri-band mesh Wi-Fi router system. Now, this price, again, I didn't take the time to go in and click to say, does this mean two? Because what good is it if you have one, for a mesh? So I would guess that this is the base
This is
and
the
hopefully
base. Yeah.
comes with one uh, satellite. But I don't know about that for sure. It says covers up to 3,000 square feet with additional units. So how does it take advantage of the Wi-Fi mesh with additional units? So this is the base unit. So sophisticated, but it is a sophisticated design, right? That
Mm.
makes it better. It's also pleasing to the eye aesthetically. Oh well.
Which is important, by the way, because one of the key things about Wi-Fi routers, they need to be in a central location, unexposed, to be
Yes, that's
most
true.
effective. So if it's on a shelf somewhere, it should not be an eyesore.
And put it in a place where all the flashing lights provide a really good night light, so you can find your way around the room when it's dark. It helps a lot too. That's what my UMA uh, Tello TA sits on top of the entertainment unit in my living room, which the light on that provides a very good night light for the room. It's great.
So I'm not big. I'm not. I don't know much about the mesh, but if you look at the router at the TrendNet, so it's got the antennas where you can adjust them. You can put one straight out, one up, one this way to get better coverage, right? You
Yeah,
can
because
adjust.
it's coverage and it's also a waveform does have a directionality to it.
Right.
So
So what
if your
about this?
antenna's laying flat, then the waveform comes off of it in a certain direction. And if your other antenna's out of phase with the antenna, then you will get reduced throughput and reduced signal strength. If you
So
align the antennas, that's why it's important that you don't orient all these the same.
right.
Have
So
one
what
point
about
up,
this
one point
mesh?
back, and
What
one
about
point.
this mesh box where it says it's got 6 antennas and they're obviously inside?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So
you
that's why
cannot
you get the
adjust them.
different orientation.
So
Yeah.
they're certain, or yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how that.
It all depends.
Yeah.
So
All right.
you should put it on. What you should really do is put the mesh satellite on top of a Roomba vacuum
So it'll go around.
and just let it move around the house, changing constantly, because you want the Wi-Fi to keep adjusting and adapting. So the best way to make it adapt is to change the environment. So there you go.
Yeah, and you also get to fool Google, right? Because their location is based on Wi-Fi signaling, so you get two
Yeah,
for one.
that's right. Mess with their heads. Oh well. But Alan says he's always pronounced Gryphon as Griffin. That could be true. It could be true. I don't know. That's the first time I've run into that. All right, so we've got a couple of USB 3.0 adapter, or I should say a couple of USB adapters here. One is a 3.0 gigabit LAN adapter for $16.99. And the other one is a USB-C gigabit Ethernet adapter for $16.99. And we've also got an AC 1200 UMIMO adapter. It's a USB micro adapter for only $21.99. So this is a good way to have an older piece of hardware, older PC or laptop, take advantage of the
Yeah.
AC
Upgrade your
MIMO standard.
Wi-Fi.
But again,
I like the
this is the
USB-C.
antenna.
Mhm.
So this is going to affect performance. There is no external antenna.
Right.
It is that tiny, tiny little antenna.
You
So
were
this is
saying,
probably
Gal?
to get good performance, it's going to be in the same room.
I like
Huh?
the USB-C one. You plug it to a phone, and then you get a wired phone.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think you might have some driver issues. You could try it. Okay. So now getting into security, home security. Swan is a very good brand of wired and wireless NVRs, network recorders for video and cameras. So they've got a 4-channel 4K Ultra HD video recorder with 4 cameras. and a pre-installed 1 terabyte drive. This is a wired, they call it reliable wired connections, which is true. If you're going to get a Wi-Fi, if you're going to get a camera system, if you can wire it easily, that's the way to go, just because it's going to be more reliable. But if you can't go, and you need to go with wireless, and you have to consider power
And you
other
can mix
factors.
and match. You can mix them.
And mix and
Yeah.
match. Some systems miss them. The one I
Right.
have actually has options now where I can feed wireless cams
Mhm.
back through the network to my recorder, which is currently just picking up the wired cameras
Right.
over PoE connections. So they added that capability now with newer software for the recorder. I haven't upgraded yet, but I saw that, which is cool. So $349 for the 4K Ultra, 4 cameras and a 1 terabyte hard drive. They've got a full HD recorder with 4 heat sensing warning light security cameras, which is interesting. That warning light. I've never seen a warning light in this form factor camera before. That's interesting. For $279. So reliable wire connection, 1080p, heat sensing protection, and that's a nice feature. I like that. I like the idea of the warning light. I wonder if you can make it blink. That's even more scary, isn't it, than a solid light?
Mhm.
So that tells you that it's actually recording. Remember the fake cameras,
Yep.
Amnon?
Yep.
I saw that in the store the other day. It was at Lowe's. They actually had a dummy security camera, but the one we had was motion sensing, and you put batteries in it, and it would swing back and forth when
Right.
it detected motion, and the light would blink. It's very
Yep.
cool. I used to have it in my closet. I must have gotten rid of it. Battery probably took it out or something. Okay, and we also have the Swan Wi-Fi floodlight security camera, dimmable motion sensing, heat sensing detection of to turn on the light and the recording. It says two-way talk, siren, color, night vision for $179. Okay, micro SD cards, XC and HC cards, 512 gig, 512 gig, $74.99. Amazing, and that's an SDXC card, which is a level 3 speed, or level 10, I should say, speed, and then 16 gig micro SD HC for $499. Good prices. All right, next we've got a USB Type A and C, USB 3.1 A and C hard drive enclosure, combo enclosure for $7.99. It's probably good to have a couple of these laying around.
Yeah.
And it's an aluminum case, which does a much better job of transferring heat from the case. And then the Kingwin Power Dock Plus. This is a 2 dock compatible USB 3.0 SATA drive dock for $29.99. So 2 drives, supports both 3.5 and 2.5 inch form factors. Very nice. And for cord cutters, we've got a couple of antennas out here. The Antop digital outdoor attic HD antenna for $34.99 passive. And we've got a ProLine Big Boy outdoor HD antenna for $39. The first one's $34.99. The second one's $39.99. And then USB powered. That's interesting. But a Remo outdoor USB powered
Mhm.
antenna, high gain directional USB input for the TV, computer, etc. For $19.99, normally $37.
Worthless.
What's that?
Worthless.
You think so?
Seriously.
Doesn't do. I thought the more
I don't know.
pieces
I
of
mean,
antenna, the better it has to be.
well, I don't know. I had one that I got just for the rotor, and you had to put it together. I give one to Nick, and he used it. But when we were going to cut the cord, I tried this one. I put the antenna together. I tried it. Nothing. I mean,
It
really.
sucked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big time.
I threw it away, Amnon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, my hours is just outside waiting to be thrown away. It's so cheap. It
And
is
what's a
so
directional antenna?
just like that. Yeah.
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 The problem is that they use like the elements are crappy aluminum. The connectors are this like almost tinfoil
It
stuff
is.
that you
It's
wrap
thick.
to
Yeah.
keep it together. It's not great.
No, it's really it's worthless. I mean, if you're trying to get an antenna, I got those that like a page. I mean, if you want to pay really below $20, they look like a page 8.5 by 11, and you put it outside, and it works pretty good. But I would bet that that end top that looks about like that. Whatever, I can't remember the name of the antenna I got. Clear stream. It looks kind of like it, and that works great. And it's still, this is $35, but don't waste your time and money on that $20 one. Anyway,
You're going to be getting a call, Amnon.
that's fine.
They're going to come after you. The antenna people.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So the next thing we have is a Pico projector, which is a tiny video projector. This one in particular, Idea Play, is Android operating system. So it's
Hmm.
got some intelligence to it. 100 lumens, that's not a lot when it comes to projectors,
Right.
but for the price, $199, but it's $124.99 with the promo code. So for projecting, directly from your uh, Bluetooth compatible device, it has other inputs too, but pretty cool. And this one, boy, I was like, they still make these things? 9-inch LCD portable TV and digital multimedia player. It's $64.99. So it's got a full, obviously digital receiver, as well as you can plug in SD cards in it to play videos. But $64.99. I wonder if it has other inputs too. If it's a multimedia player, does it support like HDMI input to play? That'd be interesting to know that. But just to have a little TV to take out on your deck or
Yeah.
something if you wanted to watch sports or sort of local broadcasting, $64.99. That's a good deal.
So it's got the digital tuner in it.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's got an antenna. Yeah.
well, yeah, but it's got to have a digital converter box built in, I presume.
Oh yeah. What it's got? What is it called? Quam. I don't remember what the name of the tuner was. It's what the
Gotcha.
latest
Okay, cool.
technology is.
Yeah.
But it's just like a regular
Yeah.
over-the-air TV would have a tuner.
Very
So,
cool.
Okay. And finally getting down to the end here, we've got a couple of interesting things. TrendNet gigabit power over Ethernet injector for $19.99. So if you do have a device like a camera or something and you want to support an access point, here's an inexpensive way to get a single connection with PoE to power that device. Normally $21.99 for $19.99. And then also TrendNet Powerline nano adapters. This is a pair that would use your power line in the house to send an Ethernet signal. And they call it a 500 AV. I'm not sure what
It's slow.
it's
It's
not
slow,
gonna be
but it'll
fast,
work.
It,
Yeah.
it works. And
yeah.
it doesn't have to be super fast in
Right.
most cases.
Yeah.
If you're going to
I
support,
had experience with Powerline. It wasn't trend then.
I had a couple of
TP link.
neck gears to start with years ago that worked real well, not real fast. And then for some reason they got wonky and stopped working. And then
But I have a question. So they sell an injector. Do they sell an extractor?
that would be cool.
You can inject
if you hold
1
if you hold
gigabyte,
the
but you
wire,
can't get it back.
if you hold the wire of the injected wire, does it get warm? Because of all the power they're injecting into it. Supposed to use unused pairs. In Ethernet, you use, and I can't remember off the top of my head
4
what pairs you use,
2 pairs.
but there's only 2 pair, and I can't remember. I used to know which 2 they used, and it's not necessarily ones that are together in the same twist, but this would use unused pairs to send power over, and it would pick it up
Right.
on the other end. So it's not in the same. It's not in line with the signaling
But
of
it's
the wire.
standard. It's a
It's
standard
a standard.
PoE.
Yeah, PoE is a
It's
standard. Yeah.
been out for
I
a
actually
long
know
time.
one of the guys who developed the standard and has a patent. I worked with him when they were developing it. It's kind of
Mm.
cool. Okay, so I brought this other stuff up just because it seemed fun, and I don't know if this is even any good. UHF 6800 from a frequency to have wireless microphones. Is that the new standard, or is that some of the stuff that's still contested? That's what I don't know. I know that a lot of people with wireless microphone implementations were not happy because of the way the FCC was redistributing bandwidth, and certain frequencies were going to go away. They weren't going to be able to use them anymore. But 99
Well,
bucks
it says complies with new FCC rules.
Oh,
So
I didn't read it. See that?
yeah, the second line.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So this was getting kind of wonky at the end of my search here. But 99 bucks, 30 bucks off for two mics and a transceiver. Multi-tone application, USB lithium rechargeable battery, automatic channel setup. So yeah, so the new standard is supposed to fix all this, but people have had to change out their tried and tested expensive equipment.
Right.
So okay, and rechargeable 14-inch touchscreen Wi-Fi streaming all-in-one karaoke machine. This is for you, Amnon.
Uh-huh.
You need to set this up at home. So $349, $329 with a promo code from Fry's. Two mics.
A bit pricey, but 14-inch is not bad.
Yeah.
Especially for, like a small party.
And Wi-Fi streaming. So you actually can connect to sites and
yeah, you
download.
can just play a YouTube karaoke video and sing with it.
Yeah, that's
so,
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just see that
Yeah.
now. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
idea then. So you can save on not having to buy.
Yeah, it's probably some sort of Android tablet embedded there.
Yeah.
But 14-inch, it's if the screen is indeed 14-inch, then it's not bad. It's just a bit pricey. That's all.
Yeah.
Still, not bad.
Money's no object.
You know what? No, it's not even pricey because now that I think about it, it includes the two wireless microphones, right? It has a speaker there. Just a tablet with a 14-inch would cost. First of all, nobody makes tablets on 14-inch, right? It's a form
It's probably
factor
a
that is
laptop. It's probably a laptop screen.
Yeah, so it's not bad. It's
If you're
decent
into
deal.
karaoke.
Yep. So this Amnon is also for you, for zipping down to come meet me for lunch over at Subway. The
no,
electric scooter.
He needs that to tow his truck. That's what he needs.
That's it.
To move it around the yard.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. It's 600 horsepower, right? Something like that. It's got a powerful motor, though. It says an 8.5-inch tires and ABS disc brake. Wow.
And super bright headlights.
Yeah. Well,
Most important.
that's so $369 was $399. The Feiwu electric scooter, and finally $159 for a 6,700 milliamp power station, 250 watt hours, 6750 milliamps outdoor portable power generator with two AC outlets, four USB outlets, 159 normally 299, 229. Well, Amnon, I bought my first jumper pack, the little lithium battery pack. And I got the one that Costco sells, and very good. It's got the jumper adapter, but it also has USB and I forget how many, 8?
Power generator?
They're
organic?
amazing. No, they're lithium ion. It's a lithium power pack. It's about the size of a.
So you need
about
to
the size
charge
of, like-
it, right? It's not like
No, it's not a generator. Correct. You charge
No,
it.
it's got an
It's a-
inverter in it.
It's
got
a
an AC
jump.
inverter.
It's a jump pack. Jumper.
Yes.
It's to jump your car.
oh no, yeah, that I understand. No. Yeah.
No, this
Yeah,
thing, the
so-
power station actually has AC outlets, so it does have an inverter built in.
Yeah.
A DC to AC inverter. So you
Yeah, I
can
mean, it
use
looks
for-
big, but it's really not. I mean, it's probably the size of a cube. I mean, a little cube, maybe 8 by 8 or something like that. That's big for. I mean, yours, the one that you have, that you bought.
Oh, it's
Spence,
basically in
it's
a kind of a hard shell pouch,
yeah,
zipper
it's
pouch
the
that you.
size of like
Yeah.
2 packs of cigarettes, right?
Well, the battery itself, but the kit that comes with the jumper cables and the
Oh yeah,
other,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a it's got more pieces to it.
yeah.
And I think at Costco it was $59. So it was a good. I have still have the big lead acid battery jumper
Mhm.
pack. It
Yeah.
still works. I replaced the battery once in it, and it still will give you a jump, but it's heavy, and
Right.
it takes a long time to charge, and it's I would say it's not all that reliable. So this other thing is great. So, and this power station. I have no idea how long it would last. So I guess it's based on the draw, but it's got a little power indicator on the side and useful. I mean, if you're into camping or whatever, or just whatever you're doing, tailgating, and you want to have
Yeah, I mean
play a device.
it's nice and compact, but the one with the lead acid is going to give you longer time to try.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, this
yeah, because
one does not.
it's going to charge longer, but it's going to drain. It's going to give you a much
Yeah.
better over time.
These lithium ion packs are are very legit. I think I got my father one for Christmas, Father's Day, or something like that. I've used mine a couple times. It works really well. They're not too expensive. You can get them for anywhere between like 50 and $80, depending on where
Yeah.
you're buying it. And
Yeah.
yeah, they're great.
The Costco had they have a company that makes them for them. If I can reach around here, I'll tell you the name of it. Well, I'll go get it in a second. But they have two versions of it, and it's slightly different features for the same price.
Yeah, I just posted a link to the one that I got my father. Actually, I got it. I think I got it for him for his birthday. And yeah, they're. I mean, the one thing to note with these though is you need to pull them out of your car about every 3 months and make sure they're charged. Because lithium ion, can over time lose its charge, and you want to make sure that it's
And
ready to go when you.
don't bring it on an airplane.
No, yeah,
Oh, I
definitely don't bring it on an airplane. It's got a flashlight built into it, which isn't super useful, but it's got that, and then it's got the little
Well, it's
jump
useful in that
socket.
if you're trying to jump the car and the battery's dead and you're in the dark.
True.
On the one I've got, it only has one button, and the way to turn on the flashlight is just to hold the button down.
Yeah.
And it turns the light on, and it's got a strobe too, which is useful if you're on a dark road stuck. You can turn the strobe on to flash to alert people that you're there. So
Yeah, they're neat. They're definitely worth. And obviously, you want to carry a pair of jumper cables as well. But with this thing, I mean, somebody's battery's dead. The hell with backing your cars up together or whatnot, and I mean, just
Mhm.
and they've
pop
got
the.
smart connector technology too. So if you screw up the connection, it won't destroy itself.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay.
yeah. So it's got.
I mean, it's not too hard to connect. There's two.
The connector body that holds the jumper cable portion of it has logic built into it that will protect. And this. Hold on a second. I got to get the one I have, and I'll tell you. It's got some neat features.
Yeah. They're cool. Yeah, it's called reverse polarity protection. So if somehow you screw it up, but yeah, they're I highly recommend it. They're especially as we're getting closer to Christmas and whatnot. If you're looking for a $50 or $60 gift for somebody that isn't useless, that just sits, and now it will just sit there. But when when you actually need it, it literally could be a lifesaver. They're very cool.
So this is a problem. It's all in French. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong side of the box. So it's a Type S, and it's made produced for sale at Costco. Actually says Costco on the back. Produced by Type S for Costco. So it's 2.4 amp USB A and C, 8,000 milliamp power bank, jumpstart most 12-volt vehicles, spark-proof clamps, splash
That's not true.
protection. It says spark-proof. It says
I've used mine.
Yeah.
It's still Arky
Little spark.
Sparkies.
Spark-proof clamps, whatever that means. Flashlight. It warms up your coffee. So distributed by Costco Warehouse. Yeah. And that's written in like 12 different languages here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's got they're all pretty much the same. It's got
Yeah.
it's got reverse polarity detection, which is what you mentioned, Spence. So
Yeah.
if you connect the positive and negative incorrectly, it will not do that.
That's
Over
really bad
discharge
for
protection.
modern vehicles. You do not want to connect the polarity incorrectly. You can,
Yes.
toast it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's a pretty straightforward device. You plug it in, you connect it to the battery, you start the car, and the car will start.
This one actually comes with a cigarette lighter USB charger adapter.
Yeah,
I
mine
thought
only
was
comes with
nice,
that,
yeah.
which is kind of a pain in the ass. I need to buy a brick charger for
Yeah.
inside for it.
They work. They definitely
do.
work.
Do you have one, Amnon?
No, but I don't need. I want to get one for Kathy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got jumper cables and
Yeah, but jumper cables are only as good as
if you have
another
car.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Okay, you
But yeah,
convinced me.
Make sure to just pull them out of your car about every 3 to 6 months and make sure that it's topped off and
Just
ready to
keep
go.
a spare charged battery in your trunk, and you run the cables from the trunk around to the front. You're set.
That is an Amnon solution if I've ever heard it. Yeah.
Yep.
Tack weld a battery holder to the back to your tailgate, and then just run a lead to your main battery.
Or put Amnon, you pull your generator trailer.
I could
Keep
do
that
that.
with it.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Absolutely.
you could say I have an electric car. You're just towing the generator and just feeding the electricity to electric car.
Can you imagine if I think about it, electric car and tow a generator like this, you can have a real long range.
There was
a
a
funny meme.
There was a car in the early days of electric cars when the batteries were very short charging time. There was a prototype car, and maybe it wasn't. Maybe they used a electric car, and you could tow a small generator with it for extended trips.
One of them I remember had a generator built
in.
On
Yeah,
deck.
well,
that
was that Chevy.
Yeah,
that was
I
a
don't
Chevrolet
remember.
that they took off the market because the environmentalists went nuts because it actually had a carbon-based generator.
It had a four cycle or 2 cycle, whatever you call it, where you mix
2-stroke.
I mean, it was the environmentalists
Didn't like it.
Well,
so it didn't.
There's a
sell
great picture I just posted in the chat of somewhere over in Europe, but it's like a AAA equivalent company that they're towing a generator to charge an electric car that obviously doesn't have any charge, and it's just
interesting.
Pretty ironic.
If they can solve, then there have been multiple
I actually
stories
thought about this week. Yeah.
Multiple stories about battery charging technology, how it's in the lab, they've got a flash charged lithium, which is the key. If you can charge it quickly. The only thing they've come up with recently that solves this issue is service stations would have a battery pack. You'd pull in, and these 2 little doors would open on either side of the car, and the new battery pack would push the old one out of the way.
That's something that existed.
It
It
exists.
was called Better.
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
Oh,
it was called Better Place. It was an Israeli company.
Yep.
Or
it's a cool idea.
And yeah, the company got bankrupt. It's out the door. It's not happening.
Too bad.
I'm talking like 10 years ago. It died.
There was a person who was trying to invent a viable battery system and came up with some great ideas. And the one idea was to have a fast charging capacitor system. And they still haven't perfected this yet because the size of the capacitors and all that, they would have thousands of capacitors in a bank that each one would discharge in order and go through an inverter and give you a constant flow of power. But you can charge capacitors instantly. So what the guy came up with is if you could perfect that, either a fast charge lithium battery pack or the capacitor bank, you would have a small gas turbine generator on board the car, and it would only have to run like 10 seconds every half hour to charge the pack up because it would be a flash charge. It was brilliant. Very small consumption of fuel. And it turned out that he now sells these as remote work site generators for like oil rigs and mines. But it's very specific and it's very expensive.
I always just keep a really long extension cord running. That's how I power my electric car.
That's it. You need to, the new cords are stretchable.
Yeah, they are. It's
They're
one of
elastic.
those wind up ones. It's like when you go to you go to the car wash and they've got the the vacuum hose that's on the spool. That's what it's like.
Where is Tesla and his wireless power when we need him?
Yeah, actually it worked. Wireless power did work.
I caught a video on YouTube of somebody had heard about there's some kind of antenna that was out in the countryside in Arizona or one of the southwestern states. They heard about it. Somebody had spotted it on a road, and they went out and they found it. And it was a company that was actually working on wireless Tesla power. And they had the Tesla style antenna out in the building in the middle of nowhere. And they actually approached them. They came up and they asked the security guards if they could come in, and they called in and they said, oh yeah. They came in and they talked to them, and they actually had a short interview with the people who were working on it, but they didn't want to advertise where they were or what their name was. So they just did a quick anonymous interview to say, yeah, we're working on it based on the Tesla principles.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, here is another interesting story. We're getting to the end of the show, kind of. The Russian group, they interfered with the 2016 presidential election, is at it again using a network of fake accounts and websites set up to look like a left-wing news site. Facebook and Twitter said on Tuesday, the disinformation campaign by the Kremlin-backed group known as the Internet Research Agency is the first public evidence that the agency is trying to repeat its effort from 4 years ago and push voters away from the Democratic presidential candidate. And this was written, I mean, this article is coming from Slashdot, which is
that is completely
left.
That is false.
It's not true.
Well,
it's completely false.
It's been debunked so many times.
But listen to this. I mean, this was written by a left-leaning source. So here comes the important thing. By the Democratic presidential candidate Joseph R. Biden Jr. to help President Trump, not Donald J. Trump, but President Trump, which is nice. You know, he's known. You don't have to say the whole thing. Yeah, Trump. Oh, we know who you're talking about. Biden, you don't know who you're talking about.
If the Russians are doing anything, they're trying to just no. If they're doing, think about it. This is not. It's not new that the Russians or the Chinese want to disrupt anything in the United States.
Anywhere in the world, never mind.
Anywhere in the world. It's just that's what they do. It's not new,
right?
And it's not necessarily specifically targeted at anybody. They've wanted to and declared that they were going to defeat the United States and knew they couldn't do it in war. So the way to do it was to basically screw up our
from
society.
Within. Yeah.
From within.
They're playing our games, but they got caught.
Yes.
Same crap we do all over the world.
So listen what Twitter is doing now. Twitter will require certain political candidates, elected officials, and journalists to beef up their passwords, the company said on Thursday, in an effort to head off any more breaches of high-profile accounts as the 2020 elections draw near. Now, I'd like to know one thing. Why does Twitter require people to beef it up? Why can't they just say, this is your password? You can change it, but we will generate it for you. It's not like they don't have the...
if they would do that, Amnon, right?
Yeah.
The no maskers of the world, right, will say, "Why are you dictating my password? Come
Nah.
on, it'll blow up in their face."
I don't know. I mean, that's the way I'd like to see it. I mean, what?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
you're talking from experience, and you're thinking, okay, there are better ways. But any single person that encountered and will encounter this, right, that has some sort of self will agenda around it, right, they'll cry out, "You're trying to force something on me that I don't want."
Yeah,
well,
but this isn't for regular user accounts. This is for like
and
presidential candidates.
yeah, and you know what? I have a beef with that because why
Why don't they
would
just make their damn password requirements strong for everybody?
yes,
But it
absolutely.
is.
But
Then what the hell's the problem?
I don't know. That's it's a news article about nothing. That's the
but
thing.
but okay, how many people here think that Trump set up his own password?
On his Twitter account, he absolutely did. It's his account.
You don't
The
think
at-
that
The real Donald Trump account's he's been using that Twitter account since like 2009.
and you don't think that he had IT people behind telling him how to do and what to do and all this
Back when he was just a regular guy?
No,
Definitely
okay.
not.
Yeah, but I'm sure that since then people told
Oh, yeah.
him, "Hey, you need to make it a better password. You don't want people to break." So
I'm gonna make my password. You lost 2016 exclamation point. Everybody's gonna love it. Hillary Clinton is a stupid bitch. That's gonna be my password, and everybody's gonna say, "Wow, incredible password! I've never seen a password so great."
The best
Yeah.
password in the world.
Yeah, yeah. You lost. Keep crying. 4 more years! Exclamation point.
we at Delta Force we don't allow people to set their own password for their email. But I had a situation the beginning of last week where one of the websites got didn't get hacked but got attacked, and their database got all scrambled. And Ron was looking at it, and I was looking at it. We tried to figure out, and turned out that yes, in the database, since you're using a program to get in and change tables and stuff, there is a way to change the password in it. And the password was test123. So the guy
That's
that
very
built,
secure.
yeah, the guy that built it for them. Now, I looked on my paper because I keep records of all that when I set up a database. What password I gave, and I said, that's not what I gave him. But turns out that the guy who set it up, the programmer, went in and changed the password for some reason. And, you don't think about it until something like this happens. So, yeah, so we just restored it and changed the password. But it is absolutely ridiculous that people don't think about this these days. I don't care what it is on the internet that you have. I don't care how unimportant it is. You should
Use a password manager.
manager, and that's in order to remember.
No,
to
the
know.
password managers
Oh, it also
generate a
generates.
password. Yeah.
It'll generate one. Yeah.
See,
So when
I
I
don't-
go and
I
when
don't
I go
use-
and sign up for a service, Bitwarden, I just click generate and it just makes me a password. I paste it in there and it's good to go. I never even
Yeah.
see the password.
See, I set up people with their passwords, and I guess after years and years, you know how to set up a strong password.
Yeah. Well, and if it's going to be something
It's-
that you're typing in,
Yeah.
then you'll want to do it different
Oh,
than
Yeah,
a regular, the good
Yeah.
thing about a password, the good and bad thing about a password manager
Manager.
is you never have to know the
Right.
password.
Right.
The bad thing is if you somehow don't have access to it, you can't log in. But yeah, if I was making a password that I had to type in, I would not make it ZDF 5% HG, whatever
Yeah.
random crap
Yeah.
gets generated from a
Right.
password manager.
yeah. You see, I do. That's the
I don't
difference.
have many. I have no passwords left that I can actually remember and type in.
Yeah, but if
Or
somebody,
just-
if somebody,
So I have password protected files, encrypted files that I keep a list in a locked box.
There you go.
And then
this is becoming like what do you call it? Fast dial, not fast dial. What do you call it? When you-
Speed dial?
Speed dial. What's your mom's number? Number 3.
Amnon, when you say strong password, do you spell, when you type it in, do you type in capital S strong or just strong?
$.
That's it.
Yeah.
Very strong. Actually, I don't think you can start.
The
I don't know if
best
you can start
strong
a password.
password
with
is
this.
Amnon
strong.
uses Chazak.
Chazak. Yeah. Yeah, that's
How do you
another
spell that
word.
one?
Oh, that's very good. Yeah.
You start with the
You know, like phlegm.
I have Siri dictate it for me to type in my password.
Oh,
Who said that? What was his name? The guy that came up
What?
with that? The flame, the guy that the ventriloquist that has I kill you.
yeah.
the
I know who you mean.
Dunham,
Yeah,
Jeff
Jeff
Dunham.
Dunham.
Yeah.
Jeffrey
Jeff
Dunham.
Dunham. Yeah.
Yeah. The dead terrorist.
Yep.
Ahmed the terrorist.
That's right.
Ahmad. How do you spell it? A. Ha. You know,
Phlegm.
like phlegm.
AC. Did you guys ever watch Victor Borga?
Yeah.
You know who he is?
Mhm.
He's been gone a long time, but he was a comedian, but he was a musician. He played the piano. One amazing person. But he'd read a story, but he would use verbal punctuation marks. So like if it was comma, exclamation point, he'd go when you read it. So she walked into the room, stepped over the thing, and just look him up. He's got video. There are videos online. It's very funny.
It was funny. Yep. All right. Remember, I don't know how. It wasn't too long ago when we talked about Firefox Send. Remember?
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried using it the other day and they got rid of it.
Why are we?
What? Firefox what?
Send. It was their file sharing service.
Okay.
That is
Yeah, they got
weird.
rid of it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they. Not sure why they did.
Initial
They-
release March of 2019.
That's when it started, and then
Offline July.
yeah, they just got rid of it for some weird reason. Odd. I really liked it.
I've never
This
used
is
it.
Really? Any of you guys are monitoring?
Yes.
Can
Yeah,
you see
it's
it?
buffering.
Yeah, I don't understand. It happened last week also
Yeah.
toward the end. This has to be. I'm wondering if this is a problem with Caster, but it's
Life goes
YouTube.
on.
We need
You-
to
you-
shorten the show. It needs to be-
I mean,
We need to
20
start on
seconds.
time.
guys, this is the thing. I'm talking to the audience. This is why those different links, the streams, are underneath it. If it starts messing up, try another stream. They're all the same, and one of them will work. So stop complaining. So yeah,
No, don't say stop complaining. If they'll stop complaining, you wouldn't know about it.
I wouldn't know about it. No, I saw it. I just looked and I said, "Uh-oh," and then I looked and I saw it says your stream is bad. Yeah, but I mean, the Facebook will work fine. The Twitch. I mean, I'm looking at Twitch now. It's fine. The new one, that VIMM, is, I see it buffering every now and then. So and anyway, yeah, Nick. So they're doing away with Firefox Send and Firefox Notes. I mean, how long
Yeah,
has it been? How long has this Firefox Send been around? A year or two?
Yeah, Gal said
less
March
than a year.
2019
Yeah.
to July.
I
Yeah.
wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know. It was I switched to it exclusively. I went from WeTransfer to
Yep.
Firefox Send, and then they got rid of that. So now I'm using Jesus.
My
now
own
I'm
instance of
using
Next.
I'm using gofile.io is the current one I'm using to send things easily back and forth. Well, just easily to people.
Self-hosting, man. Self-hosting.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to self-host stuff. I mean, if I just want to send somebody a quick, I do it a lot at work, especially because people's firewalls, we have pretty strict firewall rules for a lot of our customers, so they can't download things. So what I'll do is I'll download it on my machine, put it on this gofile.io and download it on their computer from there. So That's kind of what I've used it for.
And the last thing I have here is USB-C related. It says USB-C is near ubiquitous. Almost every modern laptop and smartphone has at least one USB-C port, with the exception of the iPhone, which still uses Apple's proprietary Lightning port. For all its improvements, USB-C has become a mess of tangled standards.
Yeah, that's true.
A nightmare for consumers to navigate despite the initial promise of simplicity. So it says anyone going all in on USB-C will run into problems with an optional standards called power delivery. Some will get charged, some will not charge, some will work, some will not work. It is a mess. I still, obviously I'm using older hardware here in the office. I don't have anything with USB-C. But I really thought that it was a good thing. Sounds like it's not.
They're making it sound a lot worse than it is.
Okay.
There is a problem. The problem is USB-C is used as a power standard for small appliances and for larger appliances like laptops, right?
Mhm.
And there is a huge difference between the two. And on top of that, there are also a few standards when it comes to the speed supplied by USB-C. So if you buy a USB charger, right, it might only charge your cell phone and it won't charge your laptop, which makes sense.
Or your
right?
Surface.
So it's same thing. Yeah. Same thing here. Yeah. So that's like the thing to note. But whether it's for a larger appliance or not, and I think that the charging standard for the bigger devices is not necessarily won't necessarily work with the smaller devices. So an iMac charger, which is USB-C, right? An iMac charger won't necessarily charge your Samsung phone, right? So that's the mess that they're talking about. I would rather have that mess than having different devices just because the plug is different. So it is a good move, and I definitely think Apple needs to throw away their Lightning connector. But the thing is,
I think
they
the new
have
one.
so much.
I think the
They
new
have
one they
so
just
much. What's that?
the new one that they just unveiled last week does have a USB-C. Keep going. The new phone.
They didn't unveil a new phone.
I-
They were supposed to, but they didn't.
They were saying that the new something.
They did a new
Well, that might
tablet,
be a
iPads.
rumor.
New iPad.
new iPad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Next generation
iPads
iPad.
USB-C. That is a
don't-
They
I don't know
said
that
that
to be
they
true.
that it has. I didn't save that. Oh. But anyway, keep going.
iPad, USB-C, iPhone, and iPad charger. There's an iPad charger that on the other end is a USB-C, but I don't know about the connector.
No, it's still
So
Lightning.
yeah, that's the thing, right? They got so much flack when they switched from their proprietary connector, the earlier one, the wide one, to Lightning.
48 pin. Yeah.
Yeah, because what, it was less than 8 years since the initial, and they decided not to go with USB, right? They went with a proprietary thing, and then they came up with this new proprietary thing, and I really hope they'll switch to USB-C at one point just to make it easier on their consumers, but it's gonna take a while.
It's a lock-in strategy,
Yeah.
too, unfortunately.
It
All right.
is, but then again, it's also some sort of losing battle, right?
Well, not in their minds specifically.
Right.
They still have they've lost market share, but I don't know that that's why.
Yeah,
Um,
losing
they're-
market share was probably not going to be
A
because
problem
of
for
the
them.
connector.
Yeah.
I wonder
I'm-
though, if they will increase market share the moment they make the shift.
Maybe.
I'm very much looking forward to the next iPhone. I'm in desperate need of a new phone. So,
All right. Anything else?
no, sir.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Spence, Gal, and Gal. Shana Tova. Happy New Year. And everybody, all the audience. It's the Jewish New Year.
When? Today?
Started Friday. It's Friday evening,
Oh, I didn't-
and it's going to end. It still is today.
Oh, well, Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Back at you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Shana
that.
Tova.
Shana
Means a
Tova.
lot.
Yep.
When was I supposed to
Happy New
celebrate?
Year.
I didn't see the ball drop.
That's the only
No.
balls that drop are those of whatever you eat.
You eat
Yeah.
good stuff. All right. Hey, good morning. Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna, Dina, Arlette, Micha, everybody. Thanks for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Tonight at 7 o'clock, again, Nick is hosting his Against the Norm show at atnshow.com. You can listen to it if you're in Wilmington. You can listen to it on 106.7 FM. Have a great week, everybody. See you.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.